What's up, guys? And wait a second. Did I miss something? Stop! Zoom. Enhance. 100+ subscribers. When the fuck did that happen? Well, then I guess I'm gonna have to do one of those subscriber special things or whatever it is, and that's what this is. Now, I was rolling around in my head about what this should consist of, and obviously it's going to have some channel updates and general doohickeys about my, whatever this is. But first and foremost, I need a hook. So since a lot of you guys are regulars from my Ruby's videos, I figured I'd delve into something else created by Rooster Teeth. I'm going to watch the first episode of Genlock, and it might be a review, or it might just be me bitching about stuff. I don't know. We're gonna see. This is my sacrifice for you guys, because for those of you that don't know, I absolutely fucking hate mechs. I come from the generation that grew up on Voltron and Power Rangers too, so don't even at me saying I'm in the wrong here. When I went back and tried to rekindle the things I enjoyed during childhood, I just found them to be stupid. I used to love Beyblade too, and guess what? Can't even get through one episode now. Stuff is so cringy. That being said, I'll do the review, maybe some channel updates, and then I'll thank everyone that I can see. So if you stick around that long, you're the real OG here, not me. So that's what I'll say, and I'll stop. So here's what I'll say, alright? I'm going to stop push recording this as I watch it, which means I'm going to watch something, stop, record, and then make my comments. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to splice together. I'm not really going to script it, I'm just going to go for it. So let's do it. I just hope this series isn't full of some weird political garbage either, because I know Michael B. Jordan is one of the voice actors for one of the characters. I think it's the main character. And there's no skirting around the fact that he's an amazing actor, dude. Like Creed, that one scene about, you know, him not wanting to be useless, man, I felt that. So I just hope they do it justice and they keep it in its own world, you know. They don't really try bringing our politics into it, but that's something that Rooster Teeth does, and I don't like it. So we'll see how this goes. That being said, you know, I'm still expecting there to be an abundance of female leaders, mech pilots, or just people that upset the status quo about the world because, you know, feminism and whatever the hell, whatever. Moving on. So the kid sister is some sort of Twitch streamer, but only has around 14,000 viewers, which isn't too bad, not gonna lie. And I thought it was pretty funny how her entire voice is modded and she sucks at singing in reality. That was kind of funny. You guys hear that? You hear the dog coming over to see if I'm okay because I'm talking to myself. Come here. This is also pretty interesting. In it, they mention how strict Leave is getting, and it's revealed in the next scene that they are holograms transmitting from a base. If you didn't know before, I'll tell you again. I was in the Army, so I kind of enjoy it when shows get accurate with this kind of stuff. It is extremely difficult to get leave, especially during a period of war, and in most cases, your family is going to suffer from your absence. That being said, for a lot of us, our family becomes the people we serve with and not actually our blood relatives. It was also kind of amusing how the little sister and the love interest kind of clashed right here, kind of ganging up on the guy, which, you know, any of us with younger siblings can attest that they actually do that. So I feel for my man Chase here. Looks like a female president, and so it begins. Black Mist attacks. I don't know what it is. It looks kind of like maybe a bioweapon or, I don't know, nanotech, just like, what was it, G.I. Joe or whatever. Guys, I don't mean to keep doing this. I really don't. But it looks like I have to. I get that this is the future and whatnot, but hear me out, okay? They would not have facial hair or unkempt hair, nor would their tattoos be exposed. Maybe on the tattoos, you know. Some places are fine with it. My unit was not. They were really strict on you looking professional at all times, even if you're covered in mud and dirt and you're, you know, working on a machine or something. You have to look professional. Because, you know, even if there was an impending nuclear strike on our soil, superiors would ensure that we looked presentable for death, I swear to God. And also, this is fraternization. And let me break that down for you. Being in the military doesn't mean that you can't date people also in the military, but there are rules and guidelines that you have to follow. First and foremost, high-ranking officers cannot date enlisted. Sometimes there is leeway on this, but most every case I've ever seen is a huge no-no. You have to basically get clearance to be able to date people if you're like that high of a rank. If you're dating someone of similar or higher rank publicly, you will be moved units or stations, you know. This way they can't use their rank to influence anything that's going on with, you know, the other person. Now, I was in the infantry, so in most cases, female infantrymen are, well, you know, non-existent. Unless you believe that stuff that you read in tabloids about the first female infantryman. There were none in any of our units at all, and that's because, as a whole, it's a male-dominated position. Which meant, you know, that my unit and all adjacent units were male, except for a female medic or two, or something like that, and not even going to talk about that, that's totally unrelated. Just going to say, if you go into other units that aren't infantry, you'll find males and females in the same platoon. Now, what would happen if, say, a sergeant started dating the new private? Well, the new private would get special treatment. They wouldn't be put on terrible duty all the time, and more than likely in a time of war, they would put the other person's life over the mission or something like that, because when you start to develop feelings, you stop, you know, thinking about the mission, which is why a lot of times you're not allowed to date the person that's in the same unit as you. I had a buddy of mine that started dating someone that was in their same unit, and they immediately got transferred to fucking Germany not soon after that. They got married, and they're still together, obviously, but they couldn't be in the same unit together. So this main character, who is obviously an officer, openly dating a female character that appears to be either enlisted or an officer, regardless of rank or unit, it doesn't really work for me. If they were keeping it a secret, it would make more sense, because in a lot of cases you have to keep it a secret, but it doesn't really look like they're keeping it a secret, because they're pretty open about it, and, you know, they both went to the same place for leave, and they kind of kissed in the middle of the hallway, which is also not allowed public display of affection. You can't do it while you're in uniform. But this is why I always say, you know, if you have no idea how the military works, don't bother writing it into your story. It's not going to be accurate. You can ask pretty much anybody who's been in the military how stuff like this goes, and they'll give you an honest answer, because most of the time we don't care, and it's not a big deal for us to tell you how this stuff works. So this just shows me that Rooster Teeth didn't bother looking into this at all. They just kind of wrote it into the story for the sake of it being part of the story. Anyway, rant over. So the walkers just look like Titanfall style walkers, and I don't mind those. I actually kind of like those. The game is kind of fun. Apex is obviously kind of fun. You know, just walkers like this are kind of interesting. I enjoy them, you know. Another female lead who is presumably a general and in charge of strategic command or whatever. I recognize the female pilot as Emerald's voice actor. I think it sounds really similar to her. So far, I don't mind this stuff. This stuff isn't too bad. It's kind of cool, you know. The planes and the walkers, that's interesting. I like that. Maybe it's because it's, you know, it's a dystopian tech future or whatever, and I'm not seeing any human-style, cool-looking mechs. It's just interesting robots that are, you know, conventional and almost kind of realistic, you know. Nanotech Virus, kind of called that one. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. It's been done to death, but it's cool. Main characters are opening fire in between buildings during an evacuation, and there's still people in there. That's a big no-no, but could be considered collateral damage. I don't know. I'm not too sure about the SOP for pilots, though, the standard operating procedure. But if it's anything like us, Army dudes, firing anything in the direction of friendlies or civilians is grounds for court-martial. It's like huge, huge problem. So they're like firing machine guns and rockets, weaving in between these skyscrapers, and that's just not allowed. You'd have to ask for clearance for that, I guess. You would have to inform them that you're doing it, and they would have to give you, you know, like a sign that, hey, it's cool to just shoot in the middle of whatever the hell's going on. Giant evil robot. Hell yeah, I love it. I love it. Looks like, what was that? War of the Worlds. It looks like a World of... Not the Statue of Liberty! You're maniacs! You're maniacs! So the bad guys have this gun that can just hack the good guy robots. And the good guys go, "It's hacked!" And then don't bother shooting it, and instead straight up tackle it to pull out its motherboard or some shit. No offense, man. We're in the middle of the war. I'd shoot the damn thing before I tried to unplug it. Like, what the hell? There's no way that you don't have rounds that can pierce through that thing. You know, I'm sorry. And just the fact that your robot can be hacked remotely is kind of sad, and I feel like they should be aware that that technology exists and maybe have, I don't know, a shutdown or a kill code for it or something, not just to tackle it and pull out its motherboard. People loyal to the bad guys are spared the nanotech virus thing, which, to be honest, is kind of cool, but like the only indicator they gave that they were loyal was a badge. They pulled out the badge of the evil company or whatever. I already forgot what it's called. They pulled out the badge, and that just, gave them, okay, you're cool, man. It's like, fuck, why don't you just hold the badge the whole time? I don't know. Emerald got blown up, and whatever, that sucks. I didn't really care too much for that character. So they can detect these EMP bombs that are charging, but honestly, it just looks like the turrets were shooting at them like they've been doing the whole time. At what point did the turrets decide to suddenly become more accurate and focus fire? Shouldn't they have been doing that from the beginning? The old razzle-dazzle duo would have been dust if the turrets worked just as well as they did just then, So Chase ends up disobeying orders and sacrificing himself for the sake of disabling the enemy's machines and nanotech. While doing it, the turrets can't appear to hit him as well as they could Dazzle, and he just doesn't even aim the bomb. He just kind of flies and fires it into the air, and which just makes me question everything about how everything works, This is kind of the problem when you have like these established tech universes or whatever, when you try to establish something and then you overwrite it like in the next scene. You're saying these turrets can track these bombs and they can hit our flyers or whatever. Boom, that's established. Then in the next scene, they clearly can't hit them for shit, and the bomb doesn't even need to be shot directly at the machine. It just needs to be shot in the general area. And I get that he was kind of using himself as a shield and sacrificing himself, so the bomb actually affected him as well, so he couldn't eject. But I mean, I feel like there could have been something done there. He could have like pulled the ejection before the bomb went off or something. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of all over the place. That being said, the sacrifice was pretty nice. The music and everything going on, the feeling of it was there. So far, the show isn't that bad, honestly. I'm gonna skip through this stuff. Is just kind of a lot of boring stuff going on right now. 2 strong female leads clashing. Hell yeah, I love seeing that. That's my greatest. I just wish Rooster Teeth would stop referencing Halo all the time. The I am your shield, I am your sword stuff is getting really annoying, and it just feels robotic and out of place. The dialogue here sucks, and it's obviously because they're trying to shoehorn in another thing. They do it in like Ruby and Red vs. Blue all the time. Like Ruby, they had the whole Panther, Puma thing or whatever. So I mean, honestly, I just wish they would stop doing the references. It's kind of annoying. Boom! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There is the politics. I was waiting for it, and it finally came in the last, 7 minutes of the show? 10 minutes? So refugees are flooding in, and the whole military has this elaborate briefing to risk everything to extract 30 civilians. What? What is the tactical purpose of this? So then the love interest chick, she says, Tempest or whatever, she says, do you have any idea what it took for these people to make it this far? The virtue signaling is so hard right here, like Jesus Christ. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Rooster Teeth shoehorns real-world politics into their shit, and it's annoying. The real-world callback here is obviously the border and immigration issues in America. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe or anything like that. All that I'm saying is during a period of war, we would absolutely not risk military access to assets to ensure that refugees could make it safely to us. That wouldn't happen. If they made it to our guarded borders on their own, that's another story. But sending assets outside of our territory just to save civilians is not cost effective. Unless there was someone seriously important among those refugees, we wouldn't do it. Okay? What they're doing here is kind of implying that no matter what, we should help immigrants and refugees into our territory. They take priority over the lives of our soldiers, which is simply not true and not even remotely tactical. Not only that, the logic is faulty here. I mean, sure, what if people wanted to defect to the other side, the Union bad guys? They would be thrown in jail. So why risk all this help to help defectors from the enemy side or whatever? That's how you get spies and shit. That's how spies come into our country and shit. That's how spies get into your borders. It just doesn't make any sense. They would have some screening process. Not to mention, they said that the border is shrinking every single day. So if these people manage to make it this far, why wouldn't they be able to just make it the whole way there? They made it all the way past this huge territory. Like it's shown on the map that the area that they control is super small. Why wouldn't they be able to make it all the way there? Doesn't make sense. Not only that, honestly, if the military or whatever is regularly going out and saving these refugees personally, it's like a huge opportunity for the Union to just ambush the fuck out of them. It's such a dumb idea. No way! You mean the Union used the refugees as ambush bait? I wonder if it's because our humble heroes stupidly try to save literally everyone crossing an imaginary line. And the mechs appear. And I'm no longer interested. Oh look, it's the badass female lead from earlier. Who could have predicted that she was a mech pilot? So she has no weapons, but just instead kind of lifts the spider mech up and needs the other guys to shoot missiles at it so she can move out of the way at the last second and get impaled by debris. This chick is a shit pilot. Where are the weapons for this thing? So anyway, Chase is back as a hologram. He doesn't look like he has had any scars, which probably means he did die during the last conflict, but had his brain or consciousness installed like a computer or some shit. I don't know. So he can control the robot or whatever. That's my guess. Now I would watch the rest of the released episodes, but you have to be a first member. And I canceled my first membership immediately after RWBY was finished. So as far as first impressions go, I didn't mind it. I enjoyed the episode up until the human mechs came in, and I'm kind of curious about whether or not I'm right about Chase's predicament, but not curious enough to pay $5 to find out, and I always have Google to just let me know if I'm ever dying to know. From the looks of it, it's exclusive to first members with the exception of the first episode. I mean, is it worth spending money on? I don't think so. I feel like they should have done the same thing that they did with RWBY, which is, after they released an episode, after like a week or two, they release it to the public, and then they release it on YouTube, just to get it a little bit more traction. Just the fact that you have to pay to watch the rest of it is kind of stupid. And if that review felt boring to you, imagine how it felt for me. That was 30 fucking minutes, and I had to sit through it. So as far as updates go for this channel, let's just say if you are only expecting RWBY episodes, prepare to be disappointed. I intend to do other anime, other manga, and maybe even movies and TV shows, down the line. But at the moment, I'm just kind of getting a feel for how things work, And I'm obviously trying to do some stuff, and it's not really big projects in the making. It's just kind of me screwing around. That being said, I'll try to put out a RWBY video every week or so. I would do something boring like a face reveal or a Q&A, but that's more of like a 1,000 subscriber special or something like that. At the moment, I don't think anybody really gives a shit. So in the meantime, guys, I appreciate you watching. And if you watched this far and you've been waiting for a long time for this, here it goes. Thanks to all my recent subscribers, Rhythmic Warrior, Lictor, Lord Vexus, Richard, Crimson Viola, Cortavius Reese, Brownie42, The Darkest of Souls, Dark Soul, Adonis, Derp Merps, Bryce, Lord, Maury, Sonic Fan Oneable, Crispy, Sham Shiro, The Eighth Sphinx, The Sniper King Show, The Egg Opener. If I went to your channel and all you have is videos of you opening eggs, I would be really impressed. The Intric 9, Scarlet Glitch, love that name. Transhuman Hive Mind, pretty good name too. Notermark, the Little Red-Haired Girl from Across the Street, okay. Salty Weeby, Darkhound, Claire Boy, Windscar 88. Oh man, wait, is that an Inuyasha reference? John McClug, the one and only. Jay Sion and whatever, you know who you are. Thank you. Wendy, Christian, Kyle King, Kai Nichols, Dark Chain 10. That's all the subscribers I can see. If your name wasn't called, like I said before, I don't know what your settings are. They're probably private, but that was a mouthful in the first place anyway. So like I said, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of all this crap. And, a huge shout out to like those one or two couple people that always come back to my videos just to leave a dislike, because fuck you guys. No, I'm just kidding. You guys really do motivate me to, well, you don't motivate me at all, but, I do appreciate all positive and negative feedback regardless. So thanks for being a part of this. the rate that I'm getting subscribers is kind of going up a little bit, but I'm sure it'll even out eventually. So I'll just continue to make videos and hope that you guys like them and hope that eventually they get traction. That being said, till next time, guys. If you want me to, if there's 100 likes on this video, I will buy a first membership and I'll watch the rest of this stupid Genlock series and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on it. Otherwise, no, not gonna happen. Okay, bye.